Squid Game changed the game when it first dropped, and now with its third and supposedly final season, it's going out with a bang. From twisted new games to hidden symbolism found through the season, and even surprise cameos, there's a lot to unpack. This is 50 Facts About Squid Game Season 3.
Green light.
Number 1. In our 107 Facts About Squid Game Season 2, if you haven't checked it out already, we pointed out that the dorm walls often contain clues about upcoming games. But there's more to the imagery than simple foreshadowing. One of the first visuals we see in Season 3 is the back wall of the dormitory, where a checkerboard pattern with crosses can be seen. According to production designer Chae Kyung-sun, it is designed to resemble a graveyard, and the image is symmetrically divided top to bottom, portraying life facing death. Number 2. Another visual to note is that there are small stick figures hanging from triangles near the top of the wall, which could be interpreted as a hint towards games involving falling, such as Jump Rope or Sky Squid Game. However, production designer Chae Kyung-sun explains that these images were actually meant to reflect the player's psychological state and how they've been pushed to such extreme limits. Number 3. One thing that's hard to ignore is the giant message that appears on the wall in later episodes of Season 3. The text reads, "Hodie mihi cross tibi," which is a Latin phrase that means, "It is I today, you tomorrow." Number 4. Director Hwang wanted to include Hodie mihi cross tibi to emphasize humility and the idea that anyone can be vulnerable or fall, not just the weak. Production designer Chae said that Hwang wanted the quote interpreted as, quote, "I'm not the one inside the coffin today, and it will be you tomorrow." Number 5. When brainstorming ideas for the phrase, Chae mentioned that she was constantly thinking about what was written on tombstones. They even spent a lot of time designing the font and whether they should go with something more antique or just write it out in emojis. Number 6. If you felt that some of the arenas in Squid Game Season 2 and 3 felt familiar, it was intentional from a design standpoint. Production designer Chae Kyung-sun stated that the game sets were designed to maintain a sense of cohesion with the aesthetic set in Season 1. While the similarities between specific games like marbles and hide and seek weren't intentional, by design they evoke a similar feel since both areas held scenes that were heartbreaking for the characters. Number 7. The Mobius strip served as one of the key inspiration behind Squid Game's production design. The concept of the Mobius strip, the endless loop, is reflected in the maze-like staircase and the structure of the hide-and-seek game in Season 3. It's symbolic of how everything eventually comes full circle, just like life and death. Number 8. Speaking of hide and seek, this is the perfect segue into talking about the first game the contestants play in Season 3. This version of hide and seek was inspired by director Hwang's childhood memories of Da Banggu, I hope I pronounced that right, a version of tag where you have to find and tag the other player and they'd be dead. Of course, this being Squid Game, players would have to kill each other for real. Number 9. For the set of hide and seek, the theme that Chae wanted to capture was the feeling of contestants being lost on the road under a night sky. In order to get it right, Chae and her team tested multiple shades for the perfect hue and hand drew all the celestial designs on the ceiling, creating a space that feels equally heartfelt and unsettling. Number 10. Even though the games center on killing for entertainment, many rooms in hide and seek are filled with peaceful visuals like open skies, birds, and trees, a contrast that highlights the violence. As Chae puts it, as kids, this would have been a place to play tag with friends and draw on the walls, much like a playground, but now it's transformed into a terrifying space. Number 11. There are certain design elements included to emphasize events taking place in rooms. The room where Junhee gives birth to her baby was designed in such a way that it looks like the depths of the ocean, symbolizing amniotic fluid and the beginning of life. Number 12. In the emotional scene where Jang Geum-ja, player 149, is forced to kill her own son, Park Young-sik, player 007, you'll notice that the room is filled with rainbows and white butterflies, which are often symbols of dreams and hope. However, when you take into account Korean superstition, a white butterfly entering a home in spring is believed to signal the death of a family member, which is exactly what happens. Number 13. Production designer Chae revealed that the hide-and-seek set was her favorite in Season 3 and took the longest to build, spanning 300 pyong, about 10,675 square feet, and requiring 4 months to complete. Number 14. With Gi-hun killing Dae-ho in hide-and-seek, it makes Dae-ho the first ever friend that Gi-hun willingly kills. Throughout the episode, you can see Gi-hun stalking Dae-ho throughout the maze. Director Hwang considers this the moment when Gi-hun hits rock bottom. Number 15. Apparently, the English subtitles misinterprets Dae-ho's confession in Season 3, Episode 2. In the American version, he says that he wasn't a Marine at all, whereas the Korean version, the dubs and subs state that Dae-ho served as a social services personnel, which is an alternate form of service for those that are physically or mentally unfit. That is the true reason he acted the way he did in this Season 2 finale. Number 16. The song that Namgyu starts singing when he finds out that Myung-gi and Junhee were lovers is the song Love Scenario by iKON. Number 17. Our next game is Jump Rope, and the inspiration for the set's design comes from the idea of returning home. Production designer Che mentions that on holidays, the people of Korea take the train home, which is why they chose to feature train tracks. To further convey the idea of returning home, the design of the ceiling features art that transitions from night turning into day. Number 18. For Junhee's baby, the production team made a weighted doll complete with a face to make it look and feel real. Actor Lee Jung-jae, who plays Gi-hun and has to carry the baby around, even mentioned that after a few days, he started to believe the baby was real. Number 19. The two giant dolls, Young-hee and Chol-soo, were dressed to look like they were going home, complete with clean shoes. The Young-hee doll even gets a visual update compared to her red light green light design, and now features stockings with a floral design on them. Number 20. While Jump Rope was meant to induce a fear of heights, the actual set was only 1.5 meters above the floor. That's a little under 5 feet for those of us not used to the metric system. While not too high above the ground, if the actors were to actually fall, they would still be hurt, which is why the team had to work with the stunt crew to make sure nobody got hurt. The jump rope, however, was entirely CGI. Number 21. Since the jump rope was entirely CGI, the actors needed something to let them know when to jump. Lee revealed that the actors were given beeps to help signal where the rope was, with the long beep signaling that the rope was at their feet and they would need to jump. Number 22. According to Lee Jung-jae, the game that the actors had the hardest time with across all 3 seasons would have to be Jump Rope. The younger actors had some difficulty, so Lee says imagine how it was for the older actors. He even points out that the actor for Player 100 in particular had a very hard time filming his scenes. Number 23. The actors weren't the only ones having a hard time with Jump Rope. Editor Nam Na-young said that one of the hardest things about editing this scene was timing the rope swings and the jumps. Number 24. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk drew inspiration for Junhee's storyline from the 2006 film Children of Men, where a child represents the last hope for humanity. He wanted to explore a similar theme in Squid Game Season 3, using Junhee's baby as a symbol of the future. Through Junhee's selfless sacrifice and Gi-hun's determination to protect the baby, Hwang highlights the enduring strength of human dignity and hope. And even though Junhee dies, her baby survives, and, spoiler alert, wins the game, which continues her legacy and humanity's last chance. Number 25. When Junhee eventually sacrifices herself, we see at the very bottom of the arena is a field of flowers. These are a field of hand-painted flowers, and production designer Che and her team spent a month drawing those flowers by hand, and even considered just printing out the design, but she decided against it, believing that players that fall to the bottom of the arena should be met with actual flowers. Number 26. In the same episode we got Jump Rope, we also see the VIP room for the first time. This time around, the VIP room got a makeover. Che describes Season 1's VIP room as an animal enclosure. This time around, they've upgraded it with wallpapers featuring poisonous plants, which they hand-painted. Additionally, the black marble that they used in Season 1 was replaced with white marble, with Che saying that she wanted the room to feel like an ocean, a reminder that they're on an island secluded from the rest of the world. Number 27. The VIPs in this season have received feedback over their performances, with a lot of people poking fun at their voices. Turns out their voices might have been dubbed over. According to actor Brian Bucko, one of the VIPs, the show may have used English-speaking replacements in place of their actual performance. Bucko even says that, "What's being played here isn't even my voice." Number 28. The final game that participants play is Sky Squid Game. In this game, players must cross 3 towers shaped like a square, triangle, and circle, and to progress, they have to push at least 1 player off each tower. However, for the second and third towers, the round only counts if the player presses a button to officially start it, and any deaths before that don't count. Number 29. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk reimagined the childhood game of Squid Game into Sky Squid Game for the finale, using the same circle, square, and triangle shapes. With the goal of eliminating the weak, majority rules, the game was intended to symbolize how the real world functions, where the weak are the first to fall in times of crisis, and only the strong survive. Number 30. The set for Sky Squid Game was intentionally designed to resemble a construction site, with tarps and a safety first sign. The sign in particular is meant to be ironic, highlighting how in the real world all the construction sites have the signs, but the priority is to complete the work fast and cheap, leading to accidents and death. Number 31. The triangle, square, and circle-shaped pillars that the players stand on are meant to look old and on the verge of collapse. Hwang said that it was symbolic of our late-stage capitalist society. The pillars once stood tall and firm, but over time have cracked and crumbled, just like the system we run on. Number 32. The Mobius strip design motif returns for Squid Game in the form of the staircases. Che mentions how the team included the staircase design inside the shapes to imply that the players were trapped in the shapes. It is further implied by the fact that the stairs are so thin that it's impossible for the players to actually walk on them, meaning there's no way in or out. Number 33. Production designer Che admits that the set for the Squid Game was a headache to the very end and was horrible. Number 34. Aside from Squid Game and the set, Episode 5 even gives us the chance to see the records room, an area where files of each player from every game is kept. However, one interesting detail is the inclusion of a blacklist, implying that there are individuals that are excluded from participating in the games. But what could be the reason? Let me know in the comments what you think. Number 35. Hwang says the character Myung-gi represents society's selfishness, highlighting how people often ignore future generations' needs in favor of personal gain. This is highlighted with Myung-gi's decision to kill his baby so that he can win the games and the money. However, according to actor Yim Si-won, his POV is, Myung-gi shows what happens to a person when they're put in an extreme position between morality and selfishness, and the ending that will find them if they make the wrong choice. Number 36. Hwang wanted Gi-hun's final act to reflect a powerful message about selflessness in the face of the world driven by self-interest. Gi-hun's sacrifice to save Junhee's baby, Hwang explains, represents the idea that without restraint, sacrifice, or unity, there is no future. By having Gi-hun endure, return, and ultimately give his life to the game, Hwang ensures that this message is delivered by the character most capable of embodying it. Number 37. Apparently, Gi-hun was supposed to survive at the end of Season 3. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk originally planned for Gi-hun to win the game and reunite with his daughter, but he later changed the ending, feeling that a happy outcome didn't match the harsh realities of the real world. Instead, Gi-hun sacrifices himself to save the baby, who represents hope and the next generation. Number 38. Another alternate ending that Hwang was envisioning was a version where Gi-hun, a few key characters, and even the baby would survive and escape the island together. In this version, Junho and the police would arrive just in the nick of time during the final game, and Gi-hun would end the competition with the help of others. Finally, an ending where Junho is actually useful. Number 39. Actor Lee Byung-hun reveals that frontman's decision to save Junhee's baby wasn't a sudden shift or a moment of clarity, but a reflection of the last sliver of humanity buried within him. According to Lee, both he and Hwang agreed that this lingering benevolence influenced earlier actions, like allowing the baby into the game. Number 40. Director Hwang confirmed that in the finale, it was the frontman who accessed Gi-hun's motel and took the money. This scene was meant to imply that he knew Gi-hun was there the entire time and was potentially watching him. Number 41. The finale features two returning cast members who we haven't seen for a while. Actress Jo Ah-in, who played Gi-hun's daughter, Gi-yeong, returns for the final episode, having been absent for most of the series since Season 1. Likewise, Park Si-won returns for one final scene as Sae-byeok's brother, Kang-cheol. God, I hope I didn't butcher those pronunciations. Number 42. Squid Game director Hwang Dong-hyuk makes a brief cameo in the Season 3 finale. He appears in the 6 months later scene during the moment where Bak Na-yeon speaks with her father, player 246. Hwang could be spotted in the background as one of the artists. Number 43. The final episode has a cameo appearance in the form of Cate Blanchett, playing the role of what seems to be a recruiter for an American version of the games. Number 44. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk believed that having a woman as a recruiter would be more dramatic and intriguing, and that he chose Cate Blanchett for her unmatched charisma and screen presence, aiming to create a dramatic and memorable ending. Number 45. Hwang revealed that Blanchett managed to nail the Jakji flip on her first try, giving them the opportunity to film the scene as a long take. Number 46. In an interview with Netflix, director Hwang has confirmed Season 3, Episode 6 is the definitive and planned series finale of Squid Game. Number 47. In another interview, this time with Variety, Hwang stated that Cate Blanchett's cameo wasn't meant to set up a rumored Squid Game USA series, he just wanted an impactful ending. Number 48. One of the takeaways, however, that Hwang wanted people to have with the ending is the implication that the system isn't so easily destroyed just because the arena in Korea was destroyed, and that in this late capitalist society, the games are still being played, particularly in the US. Number 49. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk says wrapping Squid Game after 22 episodes is bittersweet, as he'll deeply miss the sets, the cast and crew, and the joy of watching his vision come to life, sometimes even better than he imagined. Number 50. Hwang said that if Netflix wanted another season, then it would be an obvious choice for him to come back and lead. However, if it was for a USA spin-off, then he believes that sharing ideas would be enough. Either way, he would be happy to provide anything that Netflix would need from him, as long as it didn't interfere with whatever he was working on at the time. And that's 50 facts about Squid Game Season 3. If we missed any hidden details or wild theories, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to dig deeper into the facts, you could check out our full source document, which is linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.